I can see her lying back in her satin dress, in a room where you do what you don't confess. Sundown, you better take care.
Hey, happy Hungry Wednesday. All right, so we're going to start this one off with a little bit of Commonwealth. Take the price tag off. I guess it doesn't matter if I take the price tag off. Don't want you guys to see how much money I waste on good beers. It's quite pricey to buy these big cans. But anyway, I'll tell you what, we'll do this. Does that work? Does that work? Yeah. All right. Anyway, yeah, it's Commonwealth Brewing's Mantis. What is this thing? This thing is a 7.8% alcohol by volume, double India Pale Ale. So it's a double, just under 8. Mantis, is that the type of hops or something? I don't know. But anyway, it's definitely Haze Nation certified. It's very cloudy. Nice, beautiful color on this thing, really. Let that burn down for a minute. Family owned and operated. So if you're ever down in Virginia and you get access to some, buy some beers, hit a bottle shop, definitely get some Commonwealth. They do mostly New England IPAs, although they do some Imperial Stout. I mean, they do all kinds of stuff, but and they're kind of, their kind of main thing is New England IPA, hazy IPAs. I don't even know if we're not really New England since we're not New England, but hazy IPAs is their thing. My favorite one they do, man, it's a toss-up between Big Poppy and Papa Chula. So Papa Chula is the New England IPA. It's about 7%, 7.5%, something like that. And then Big Poppy is the Imperial version of it. Both of them are really good. Papa Chula is just a nice, solid beer. Big Poppy is just even more of that nice, solid beer. Just really good. It's kind of like, Blind Pig is to Pliny the Elder what Papa Chula is to Big Poppy. There. Anyway, all right, let's get a nose on this thing. Very fruity, very tropical, sweet fruit. It's still got a little bit of head on there, so a whole lot of it's not coming out. But cheers. Oh, wow, that's good. The funny thing is the carbonation on this thing is like the carbonation on that Imperial coffee stout that I got from Haze Nation, from Ryan the other day. And like I said, it wasn't bad. I mean, the only kind of critique on that one was that there was a lack of a head. The carbonation was fine. It's kind of the way I like it actually on a Imperial Stout, that kind of soft, creamy mouthfeel. Just for some reason there was no head, but it reminds me of the carbonation. This is a nice, creamy. I mean, it's got good bittering, but it's not harsh bittering, and it just drops off at the end. It's like the bitterness is just under the fruit, the citrus and the fruit. This one is. Now that I've got the headspace in there, I'm getting some good dankness on this thing too. Wow, this is a really good beer. Oh yeah, wow. Okay, Mantis. I don't know if the hops are Mantis. I'm assuming that's what it is. I'm going to have to go back and research on this thing. But man, if you get a chance to get some Commonwealth Brewing, I think I've sent some to some of you guys. Definitely capitalize on it because these guys are good. They're down in Richmond. Hardywood's also down in Richmond. They're a really good brewery. I love their IPAs, and they do a gingerbread stout every year, which is freaking ridiculous. Larry brought me up some of that from his neck of the woods. So, all right, so what's going on? Besides the crazy, I don't even want to talk politics. It's just a freaking hot mess out there right now. But the beers are fermenting along just nicely. The brew day I did, you're going to see a brew day I did this past weekend. I think I did it on, was it Saturday or Sunday? I think it was Saturday. I did is that right? Whatever the 15th was. I think it was the 15th I did it. I did a brown ale brew day. I've talked about both of these the last Homebrew Wednesday, but I'll give you an update. So the American IPA, because we tried to do a double IPA, and that's kind of what I put in the last brew day footage, didn't turn out to be a double IPA. I think it's because of my grain crusher. My grain crusher, the spacing has come out a little bit. It's not really a bad thing. It just means I have to use more grain. Now that, you know, my efficiency went down from about, I was getting 83% efficiency. Now I'm down to like 76 or 73 or 74, something. I'm in the 70s. It's quite a bit of a difference, because I went from what it should have been an 8.5 to 8.7. Usually I hit 8.7 on old school double IPA. I went down to I'm probably going to be 6.9, 7%, maybe 7.2. It's dry hopping right now. It was at 6.9%. Most of the Krausen had dropped out. This was on the 15th when I did the other brew day. I checked the gravity on the IPA. So yeah, it was at 6.9. I added the first round of dry hops, which was some Cryo Citra and some Cryo Simcoe. 3 days later, yesterday, I think yesterday is the 18th maybe, I added the second dry hop edition of an ounce of Cryo Citra and an ounce of Cryo Columbus. And the Columbus is what I use to kind of get that dank punch in the aroma. So when I did the gravity sample, it was 6.9. I was worried that since I missed the gravity by so much, it was going to be overly bitter, because I put in the hops to get a 87 IBU measure. But I think I've changed my recipe in old school. I used to start at 60 minutes and just every 15 minutes do a hop addition, like quarter ounce here, and I went all the way through, and that's how I got and it was all Simcoe and Citra, maybe a little bit of Columbus up front. I've changed it now. I do some small adds of Magnum up front to get most of the bittering, and then or the kind of the clean bittering, and then I punch all the hop additions in the last like 10 minutes of the boil, and then a good amount of them I do in the whirlpool. Well, Beersmith gives you, I want to say, about 50% of what you normally get when you're adding hops during the boil, like in the last 10 minutes. Beersmith, when you drop the temperature down to 180, it only gives you about 50% of it. I think that's a little high, because I tasted the gravity sample and I expected to kind of have my eyebrows kind of furled and, you know, my lips curl back, and, you know, because it was going to be too bitter, but it wasn't. It was really nice, actually. So matter of fact, it's exactly where it should be for an American IPA. So I'm very happy. So instead of a double IPA, it's an American IPA. So I hadn't named my entries yet and selected the category. So I did that the other day, the last day, whatever it was, the 14th. You know, I paid for my entries for NHC, and I categorized it as a regular IPA, not a double IPA. So anyway, I'm really happy with the way it came out. I'm kind of excited because I changed up the recipe just a bit. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be good. The brown ale, that one's going to be interesting. I'm trying to debate whether I should dry hop it or not. You know, American IPAs are supposed to have a little more hop presence, more bitterness, although I'm right where I should be in the bitterness on that one. I think I'm around 25, 26 IBU, so I'm about right where I should be. But what I'm trying to debate is if I want to put in a dry hop. I think based on all that I've read, I'm going to do just maybe an ounce or two of maybe an ounce of Centennial to dry hop it. I think that'll kind of add a little bit of hop character without taking away from the aroma and flavor of the brown malt, which you kind of want that nutty, biscuity kind of malty aroma. So I think those two hops from all I read, or those two characteristics, the brown malt and the Centennial, complement each other really well. So I think I'm going to do that. I think I'll do an ounce of Centennial, leave it for a few days, see if that gets the kind of effect I wanted, and if not, I'll do another ounce. So but I'm not going to have to do that for another 3 or 4 days because it's only 3 days into the fermentation. So, so that's where I am. I'm expecting that brown ale is going to be around 5.5 or less percent ABV. So wow, man, I just killed 10 minutes. Wow. I've been running the flappers here. So that's it. Still on my little kind of forced mandatory staycation here in the house. Probably another week or so, I should be getting back to work, wherever that's going to be. So I'll try to make the most of the rest of my Netflix, and you know, my dart game has gotten really, really good, I have to say. I don't know if you've watched darts on the, I forget what channel it is, but it's usually a bunch of British dudes and Germans, and they have this international championship. I guess they have all these different, you know, international championship competitions kind of building up to a crescendo at the end. But they're all recorded, but I've been watching all the ones from 2018, and my favorite dude is this guy Mike Smith. He's a Brit, and he, you know, I guess they have two categories of dart dudes: the guys that like take their time and aim and throw, then they have the guys that do it, you know, and they're just like, it's all about rhythm and feel. Mike Smith is one of those guys. He wears a little mohawk, and you know, he's my favorite dude. He's pretty awesome. He has a weird kind of intro. Everyone gets their own intro song, and the crowd, if you haven't watched one of these dart things, the crowd goes nuts. And then between sets of the tournament, when they cut away, they play this music, and everyone's dressed up as like characters and stuff in the audience, and they're just going nuts. So if that ever comes here to DC area, I'm gonna go to one of those because it looks like a lot of fun. So I've been catching up on my darts and playing darts. But I had a day the other day where I actually got a 180, and on darts, whenever the competitor gets a 180, means they hit the triple 20 3 times. The guy's like 180. I can't do it, but anybody from the UK, if you're watching this, you know, you can critique me, but it's fun. It's fun watching those guys. So if you haven't checked it out, check out darts on the whatever cable channel it is. And I'm gonna have my cable guys are coming tomorrow. They're gonna bump up my router. They say my speed is gonna be times 10 now. Because I'm going gigabit, so excited about that. My kids are excited about that. I'm excited about that because, you know, I'm just a fraction of the bandwidth that we use here in the Dean house. The kids, they're streaming freaking constantly, multiple streams at a time. I don't know what they do. It's all games and stuff. You know, I'm sitting here trying to upload these videos, and it's kind of, you know, taking forever. But it's supposed to boost us up about 10 times, so yeah, we'll see. Anyway, hey, I've rambled on enough. Sorry. Hey, have yourself I'm gonna put a little bit of brew day footage here, so don't cut off. Stay for the end. It's not much, but it's a little bit. Have yourself a happy homebrew, and have a very, very happy homebrew Wednesday. Cheers. Get you some Commonwealth. Hey, what's up, BrewTube? Happy Homebrew Wednesday, and welcome to the Dean's List. Doing my final NHC brew. It's gonna be a brown ale. Let's look at the grain bill here. So what I got here is about, sorry for the unsteady camera, but it's about 11.5 pounds of grain. So it's got a base of Maris Otter, some not chocolate malt, some brown malt, and 2 pounds of brown malt and 2 pounds of kind of a darkened, roasted crystal malt. And I'm going to use some White Labs English ale yeast, and just for hops, I'll do some Magnum for bittering, and then EKGs. So targeting about 5.6% beer. Warming up right now my hot liquor tank, and then I'll heat up the strike water, and then we'll get going. Cheers. Okay, first runnings of the brown ale. Looking good. That's my favorite time of the brew day. I don't know why. I just like watching as the hot blocker is covered by the wort. And it's going.